Hey guys, it's Eyemem, back with another book review Monday. Today we'll be reviewing Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Have you seen the movie of this? If you have, forget everything you knew about the movie, because this is much better. The book is better than the movie. Rate their reviews. Alright, $24, or maybe it used to be. I don't know. This book was published in 2011. At once wildly original and stuffed with irresistible nostalgia, Ready Player One is a spectacular, genre-busting, ambitious, and charming debut. Part quest novel, part love story, part virtual space opera. Yeah. It's the year 2024. Hey. That's in 24 years. And the world is a real ugly place, like most of humanity. Wade Watts escapes his grim surroundings by spending his waking hours jacked into the Oasis, a sprawling virtual utopia that lets you be anything you want to be, a place where you can live and play and fall in love on any of 10,000 planets. And like most of humanity, Wade dreams of being the one that discovers that ultimate lottery ticket that lays concealed within this virtual world. For somewhere inside this giant networked playground, Oasis creator James Halliday has hidden a series of fiendish puzzles that will yield a massive fortune and remarkable power to whoever can unlock them. For years, millions have struggled fruitlessly to attain this prize, knowing only that Halliday's riddles are based in the pop culture he loved, that of the late 20th century, and for years, millions have found in this quest yet another means of escape, retreating into a happy, obsessive study of Halliday's icons. Like many of his contemporaries, Wade is as comfortable debating the finer points of John Hughes' overture, playing Pac-Man or reciting Devo lyrics he could be, as he is scrounging his power to run his Oasis rig. And then Wade stumbles across the first puzzle. Suddenly the whole world is watching, and thousands of competitors join the hunt, among them certain powerful players who are willing to commit very real murder to beat Wade to this prize. Now the only way for Wade to survive and persevere everything he knows and preserve everything he knows is win. But to do so, he may have to leave behind his oh-so-perfect virtual existence and face up to life and love in the real world he's always been so desperate to escape. Alright, now to highlight the points of how this is different than the movie. So, only a few core things are the same, like the characters. Kind of. One of the characters dies. In the movie, there was no death. The movie was like, it covered the span of a week, but this is like months, maybe a year. Alright. Well, let's see. I think we'll just start reading it. Made by Crown Publishers originally. Ernest Cline. There is no map to where we are going. This is a work of fiction. Names, characters, places, and incidents are either the product of the work of the author's imagination or are used fictitiously. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, events, or locales is entirely coincidental. Copyright 2011 by Dark All Day Inc. All rights reserved. Published in the United States by Crown Publishers, an imprint of Crown Publishing Group, a division of Random House Inc., New York. Hey, it doesn't say this thing can't be transmitted in any way, shape, or form, so I can read it all to you. Haha, here we go. Everyone my age remembers where they were and when they first heard about the contest. I was sitting in my hideout watching cartoons when the news news bulletin broke in my video feed, announcing that James Halliday had died during the night. I've heard of Halliday, of course, everyone had. He was a video game designer responsible for creating the Oasis, a massively multiplayer online game that had gradually evolved into the globally networked virtual humanity most of humanity was now used on a daily basis. The unprecedented success of the Oasis made Halliday one of the wealthiest people in the world. At first, I couldn't understand why the media was making such a big deal of billionaire's death. After all, the people of Earth had other concerns. On the ongoing energy crisis, catastrophic climate change, widespread famine, poverty and disease, half a dozen wars, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Normally, these news feeds didn't interrupt anyone's interactive sitcoms and soap operas unless something really major had happened, like the outbreak of some new killer virus or another major city vanishing into a mushroom cloud. Big stuff like that. As famous as he was, Halliday's death should have warranted only a brief segment on the evening news so that the unwashed masses could shake their heads in envy when the newscasters announced the obscenely large amount of money that would be doled out to the rich man's heirs. But that was the rub. James Halliday had no heirs. He had died a 67-year-old bachelor, living relatives, and by most accounts, without a single friend. He spent the last 15 years of his life in self-imposed isolation, during which time, if the rumors were believed, he'd gone completely insane. So that the new jaw-dropping news that sat in January morning, the news that everyone had from Toronto to Tokyo crapping in their quaint frolics, concerned the contents of Halliday's last will and testament, and the fate of his vast fortune. Halliday had prepared a short video message, along with the instructions that were released to a world media at the time of his death. He also arranged to have a copy of the video emailed to every single Oasis user that same morning. I still remember hearing the familiar electronic chime when it arrived in my inbox, just a few seconds after I saw the first news bulletin. His video message was actually a meticulously constructed short film titled Anorak's Invitation. A famous eccentric, Halliday had harbored a lifelong obsession with the 1980s, the decade during which he'd been a teenager, and Anorak's Invitation was crammed with obscure 80s pop culture references, nearly all of which were lost on me the first time I viewed it. The entire video was just over 5 minutes in length, and in the days and weeks that followed, it would become the most scrutinized piece of film in history, surpassing even the Zapruder film, the amount of painstaking frame-by-frame analysis devoted to it. My entire generation would come to know every second of Halliday's message by heart. And you'll have to go read the book at a library or buy it somewhere if you want to read the rest. Wait, what does it say? Copyright 2011 by Crown Jewel Publishers. Yeah, alright. Yep. It's got about 39 or 40 chapters. Yeah. 39 chapters. Read it. Read it now. Here's the barcode. Go scan it somewhere. You have to read this book. It's required. If you don't read it, then you're bad. Alright, goodbye.